attempting the 100 Days of Making Comics challenge? Have you done any preparation? You know what they say, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. Now, grab a notepad and a pencil from the Scullery Maid and pay heed to these top tips for surviving the 100 Days of Making Comics challenge. Okay, the first thing you have to recognise when doing this challenge is that you will most likely fail. That's just the thing, that's just the nature of the beast. The 100 Days of Making Comics challenge is a challenge. It's in the name. And think about all the other drawing challenges we've got. Inktober, Mermaid, March of the Robots, you know. Whoa, I'm going to just reverse into a hedge there. They are all sort of monthly challenges. They take 30 days. This challenge is 3 months. This is a big challenge. It's a lot to ask, and the reality is you'll probably fail. Accept it, accept this possibility, and then move on. Next thing to think about is this: commit to the challenge, only the challenge. I see a lot of people taking the challenge and decide they're going to combine it with something else. You know, learn German, play the piano, lose X amount of weight. The thing is, if you start doing that, you increase your possibility of failure, because now there's 2 ways you could fail the challenge. Beforehand, if you didn't draw for the day, you lose the challenge. Now, if you didn't draw for the day and you didn't lose the weight that you're supposed to lose, or learn a number of German words, or practice your scales, same problem, same outcome. So commit to the challenge and just the challenge. Resist the temptation to embellish it. It's good enough as it is. So, let's take a second to think about the challenge. Think about what it entails. Think about what the outcome is going to be. Across the road here. Break it down by numbers. It's half an hour a day. It's 3.5 hours a week. It's 14 hours a month, and it's 50 hours in total, which is just over a week's work. Well, you know, 8.5 hours a day. So it's a little over. It's a little over a week's work if you're working full time. Ask yourself the question: what would you want to accomplish in that week? If you could take a week off work and work on the challenge, what would you do? Dial it back a little bit, and that might be an acceptable goal. I think, you know, I'm going to make a 100-page graphic novel in a week. Unachievable. I'm going to write and script 10 pages. That might be doable. So think about your challenge first. Probably a bad idea to set up by the main road. Preload your challenge. Think about it. Consider preloading your challenge. And by that I mean, a lot of people in the hundreds will say that the best way to record your work is daily, and they say make a video, upload it to YouTube. I humbly disagree. I think it's much better to preload and do a week's work and upload the week as a digest video. It makes sense in that, think of it this way: let's say you record, if you're doing it daily, if you're recording your video daily and you shoot day 1, you edit a video for day 1, you upload it to YouTube, and it takes you like most of the day, because you can take an hour to upload to YouTube, you can take an hour to edit a video. So to get this half an hour done, you've had to do 2.5 hours work to get the video up. If all you're doing is recording a small piece of video, you collate them together, and now that half hour happens at the end of the week. And it also means that if you fail your challenge after 3 days, you can start again. You can start again, and it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter because you haven't uploaded. As a YouTube viewer, there's nothing quite as more. As a YouTube viewer, there's nothing more frustrating than watching 3 days of someone's 100-day challenge and then seeing them not post anything again. It's annoying, it's frustrating, and it's saddening because you can see the challenge, and the challenge is just abandoned, forgotten about. But at least this way, you've tried it for a week, and if you like it, you're still maintaining the requirements of the challenge by uploading it to video. Another thing you can try as well is another way of preloading your videos is to create like a buffer. I've seen artists do this. They'll record the video on day 1 and they'll upload it on day 2, which gives them the time after the video is uploaded. They've got like a lot more time to get the day 2 video recorded because they've got the extra 24 hours basically. They've given themselves essentially a 24-hour buffer to find half an hour to upload the video. So consider those approaches. I hope this audio came out, otherwise I might have to record this video again. Okay, this next one is kind of useful. Streamline your processes. If you're shooting video on a camera and you'll transfer it to a computer to edit in Premiere or video editing package to upload to YouTube, there's a lot of steps, there's a lot of bottlenecks involved. When I first did the 100 days challenge my first time round, I would shoot footage on my phone, I would shoot it on a camcorder. On a Monday night, I'd spend 2 and a bit hours sort of getting the footage off the various devices onto a laptop, editing the videos, uploading them to YouTube. That was an evening, that was Monday night, it was just spent editing videos. This time round, I've edited everything on my phone. It's really streamlined the process. It's made it faster. I've used templates to sort of speed up video production. So where possible, identify bottlenecks in your process and strip them off. Find ways to sort of, I don't know, minimize your processes. Strip the number of steps needed to make the same product. Give yourself weekly targets. Establish them at the start of the week. Once you've established them, you know whether or not you're successfully project managing things. If you can say, by the end of the week I want to get X, Y and Z accomplished, and you've got X, Y and Z accomplished by the end of the week, that's good project management. So give yourself weekly targets, know what you want to achieve at the end of the week, and use that week to create steps to achieve that goal. Know what you need to do at the start of every session. If you don't, you can end up wasting your time trying to work out where you were, what needs to be done, and that just wastes time, and you won't get as much done as you think you'll get done, and then you don't hit your weekly goals. So when you finish a session, write a post-it note, stick it on your work, make a note somewhere, or leave the page with an obvious sort of pointer to say, yes, this needs to happen next. If you can do that, when you start your next session, you will have you'll be able to get hitting the ground much quicker. So this is a good tip. Install a day counter on your phone. Our phones are with us all the time. We live our lives through our phone, and it's amazing how many people start their challenge videos not knowing what day they're on. And yes, it's really easy to get mixed up, and it's very easy to get confused what day you're on. But if you've got your mobile with you with a daily counter that's incrementing every day, it's really easy to find out what day you're on the challenge. This is a really easy hit. This is a really easy tip that can be really easily implemented. So, a day counter on your phone. You are not your work, and I've been taught that by a variety of people whose work I respect and admire. You are not your work, and let me sort of explain that. Over the course of 100 days, working on the challenge, you will produce a vast amount of work, and you will be posting a lot of work to the internet, and it will be there for people to scrutinise and feedback on. Some of those pages you will think are absolute killer. Some of those pages won't work so well. It's a moving target, and people will tell you, yes, I like this page, or no, this page doesn't work because X, Y, and Z. Now, it's tempting to sort of isolate yourself and not read any sort of feedback or criticism, but I think some form of moderation is needed, and that's down to you, I'm afraid. I think you can basically categorise feedback as two things. One, people just saying you suck. Ignore those guys. They're not giving you anything. They're not giving you anything. They're just saying you suck, and it doesn't mean anything because it's a random person on the internet saying that you suck. So what? So what? Brush yourself off, carry on. But then you'll get people who say, I don't like this because X, Y, Z. And here's the opportunity for some growth. The first thing to decide is what this person is saying, does it have any merit? Is it backed up by what they're saying? You know, is it worth redoing that page? And I would caution against just constantly redoing pages to meet what some spurious voice on the internet says, but at least consider what they're saying before you just go, no. Just go, okay, you've made a point. I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to take that on board. I'm not going to act on that because it interferes with my X, Y, and Z. You thank them for their input and then you move on. The second way of approaching this feedback is they give you some feedback, and actually, you know what? That's a really good point. Their X is wrong. Their Y is actually really something worth considering. Their Z is wrong, or something like this. In that case, you've got the choice. Do you want to redo that page, taking in their feedback into account, or you have the further option of saying, well, thanks for that feedback. It's too late to affect change on this page, but next page I'll definitely be looking into implementing your suggestions. Thank you ever so much. Keep watching and subscribing, or whatever it is they do. So those are the options you've got, really. I mean, the other thing is just ignore everything. Ignore everything. That's another option. But this ideally is criticism of your work is criticism of your work, not of you. Ideally. So when someone says you suck, it's not criticism. It's them trying to troll for some response, and you ignore those guys, right? If someone says I don't like this page because X, Y, and Z, British. There's something you can read into that and say, well, does this have merit? Does it resonate with me? Do I want to make those changes? Do I want to make those changes now, or do I want to factor those changes in for the next piece of work? And that's really important. So I think that's everything there. I think that's all the tips. All of the tips for our survival guide. It only leaves me to say it's a challenge. It's not an easy challenge, but it's doable. It's achievable. With planning, with organisation, it's a easily no, wrong word. It's a doable challenge, but also it should be fun. And I think if you find yourself losing sleep, getting into sort of relationship problems, or finding that this is causing mental health worries, it's a bland term, but if it's causing more trouble than it's curing, then this is not the challenge for you. Don't do this challenge. feel free to do a 30-day challenge. 30 days of making comics challenge, cut it down. You know, this is like running a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not a 100 meters dash. This is 6 miles of 100 days of comics, and I'm mixing my metaphors again. I do that a lot. I must avoid that. So yeah, that's it. That's our 100 days survival guide. I hope you find it useful. The tips are written down in the show notes below as well, and I might make some more videos like this with other tips for 100 days survival stuff. You know, if I come up with any other ways to make the challenge less challenging, you know, we'll do that. If you like what you see, hit the bell for notifications and subscribe button, and like, comment and subscribe and all that good stuff. So social media media channels are listed below. Alright, well, thanks for your patience. I'll see you again in another video. Bye.